Hi, my name is Laura Hopkins. Today I'm going to be discussing some of the things I noticed in the 4 videos we watched for class, which included the listening cycle, invitational skills, reflecting feelings, and reflecting meanings. So, one of the first and most important things I noticed in all the videos was that the counselor really allowed the client to be the one to steer the conversation. The counselors allowed the clients to open up by asking open ended questions, asking the clients to elaborate or supply different additional information, um, asking for clarification when necessary. However, the client was the one that was really determining in which direction the conversation was going and determining how much they were willing to share with the counselor. Another thing I noticed is that the counselors continued to validate and show the client that they were engaged by shaking their head, saying yes, yeah, while the client was speaking. I think this helps the client feel more comfortable about opening up and also allows them to feel that the counselor is also trying to understand how they feel. Another important thing I noticed is that the counselors never used any big psychological jargon that might be confusing or intimidating to the client. They really try to keep a relaxed, neutral tone and keeping the conversation going that felt appropriate for the client. The counselors always showed that they were engaged by paraphrasing some of the things that the clients were saying, maintaining eye contact, keeping a close proximity, keeping their body oriented towards the client to show that they were really listening and engaged. Whereas sometimes I thought counselors use notepads or a computer. I like that none of the counselors did this because it really showed that they were there for the client. Um, Another thing that I thought was important that the counselors did was ask questions, and then at the end, kind of gave a summary of what the client was saying, just to make sure that they really understood the client's feelings and what the client was saying. Um, the counselors also never gave a diagnosis or advice. They more or less were hypothesizing or just conceptualizing the things that the client was saying. So it never felt like they were trying to be a know it all about the client's feelings or the things they were saying. One of the things that I hadn't expected that I didn't know about counseling, as I said before, was a lot of times in movies we see counselors with a notepad or a computer taking notes or just saying things like, Whereas this counselor really showed the client, or these counselors really showed the clients that they were engaged and they were there for the client and that they weren't going to be distracted by other sorts of paper or computer. Um, Otherwise, a lot of what I saw was what I expected to see in a counseling session, and I feel like a lot of the tools that the counselors used are things that I could use in the future when I become a counselor. So um, I learned a lot, and um, I look forward to seeing or hearing some of the other things that the class noticed as well.